We are eager to visit with you about anything that is important to you. It will be a very nice unfolding here. Many of you have been hearing us, and others, you are powerful in your creating, and you have come to play with us on the leading edge. And we are prepared, along with you, to take thought beyond that which it has been before. It's always delicious to come across an obvious new idea. It is so exhilarating to be right there chewing on something and all of a sudden have the next logical step that has never been understood before appear right before you and to feel you right there with it. You are powerful creators. You are not regurgitators at all. You said, I want to come forth into this time-space reality, and I want to feel the exhilaration of my purpose and my focus. And together with others, I will take thought beyond that which it has been before. You've said, I'll pay attention to the way I feel, because I have this guidance within me that lets me know my vibrational harmony. I can feel when I'm in alignment with who I really am, and I can feel when I'm not. So as the new ideas are born, I will literally mold them by feeling and thinking, thinking and feeling, thinking and feeling, thinking and feeling, thinking and feeling. I will project a thought, and then I will feel it into place. I will project a thought, and then I will feel it into place. And gently, I will enjoy my expansion. Your dominant quest for all of eternity, and certainly that which you held before you made the intention to come forth into this physical body, was to feel good. Joy was your quest, because you knew if you were feeling for that resonance of joy, then you were feeling for your guiding light. You were feeling for your alignment with who you really are. And you knew that this physical time-space reality, this earth frontier, this uncharted territory, this expansive place, the leading edge of all that is, you knew that it would provide for you endless stimulation of thought. And you knew that sometimes you would get into a thought that you didn't understand. You knew that you would be out there like an explorer or a pioneer on the leading edge, and you did not feel one bit worried, because you knew you had a compass within you that would help you to know the perfection of your choices. And not once did you say, I'll go forth and do what's right. You said, I'll go forth and do what feels best. For in that choice, it must be right for me. Because you were wise enough to know you cannot choose what is right in every moment for everyone, because everyone's not in the same place of asking. The same answer can't answer all of the questions. There are different questions. And what comes forth for you is always appropriate in the moment. We just want you to begin to trust the way you feel, because that's the only way you will ever know what is right for you. If you let someone from the outside guide you, they might be guiding you to what's right for them. You hear it sometimes when they say, you selfish pig. Don't do what you want to do. Do what I want you to do. That's an example of that. You need to do what's right, and it will please me when you do it. And we say, wrong answer. Sometimes it's fun to please them. Pleasing them sometimes feels good. But if you reach this place where you are reaching to please them, and they are out of sync with Source, then pleasing them cannot possibly please you. If you have someone dominant in your experience who's tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and they are holding you as their object of attention, and in their adoring of you, you reach to do what would make them feel good, you're in good hands, because they're in alignment with Source. And as you reach to please them and do, then you've pleased Source. We'd rather that you do it because it feels good to you. And in truth, we think that that is usually what happens. But if you are trying to please someone who's not connected to Source, you get more and more and more and more and more out of balance. And so, rather than trying to determine whether they are or whether they aren't, or whether they are or whether they aren't, because it comes and goes with everyone, just pay attention to the way you feel, and then your compass is steady. And you are always on a joyful path. On a joyous path to what? on a joyous path to more joyous path. But where does it lead? To more joyous path. But what's at the end of this path? More joyous path. But what am I doing it for? Joy. But where will it end? It won't. I never get it done. That's pretty much it. You never get it done. We never get it done. But when you think about it, have you ever been on a joyous path, like a vacation or eating an ice cream cone, when you wouldn't have minded if it didn't end? Where you wouldn't have minded if it just went on and on? You were having such a good time. The idea of it continuing to expand before you felt so good. Well, that's the way this life experience felt to you from your non-physical perspective. And it's the way we want you to remember again. Jerry and Esther were leaving a hotel in San Diego the other day. And the bellman who was helping them with their luggage stood with Esther on the curb while Jerry went to get the car. And he said, I met a lot of happy people this weekend who were at your seminar. What was it about? And Esther said, oh, it's about letting the well-being that is natural in. He said, what? Esther said, well, it's about understanding that we are supposed to feel good and just not doing that thing that keeps us from feeling good. And if we don't do that, then we feel good. And he said, what? And then a family is coming out of the hotel, and a little girl who could not have been more than 3 years old, maybe not even that, tiny little thing, is pushing on the big, heavy glass door. And Esther went to help her and then realized that the little girl was pushing so hard that if Esther opened the door, she would probably fall right down. So Esther stood back and watched her because her parents were allowing it. And the little girl pushed the door with all of her might into the open position and then held it while her older brother walked out, and her father and her mother, and she is exclaiming to all of them, I did this all by myself. I did this all by myself. And then a parade of strangers are coming out of the hotel, one after the other. The little girl is holding the door, and she is telling each of them, I did this all by myself. Her beauty and her purity and her joy brought one man nearly to tears. He could hardly believe that this little bit of a thing that did not come to his knee was holding the door for him. Sometimes we notice that you are standing in a place that you do not want to be, and frustrated in your awareness that you are not where you want to be. And in that frustration, the frustration itself is your indicator that you are right now misaligned with who you are and with what you want. Sometimes you feel defensive about that. You want to explain why you're there. And we say, a little bit of that can be helpful because that could put you in step one. In other words, the more you chew on what you don't want, the more clearly you know what you do want. And so when you are in that uncomfortable place, you are certainly applying step one all over the place. But we would encourage that you spend less time in step one and more time in step three. Step two, not your work. Source energy takes care of that. So what do we mean by that? Well, don't spend too much time trying to defend where you are. Don't argue for your limitations by explaining how long you've been there. Sometimes people come to the hot seat and they want to talk about an issue. And we say, we'll hear you briefly, but we really don't want to spend very much time talking about your issue, because when we talk about your issue, what we do is keep activated the vibration that you've already been practicing. And when we keep activated the vibration that you've already been practicing, the vibration that has already shown you is not going to get you to where you want to be, then this becomes another exercise in futility, because all we do is practice the vibration that isn't working for you. Well, sometimes they can't even reach for the other thought because that vibration is so dominant, and sometimes it feels like they just need to talk about it. And we say, we really don't want to talk about it very much. We want to talk about something that feels good. And they'll say, but I can't talk about this and feel good. And we say, then let's talk about something else. And they'll say, but I'm here to talk about this. And we say, but that is your problem. And they say, we know that's our problem. That's why we want to talk about this. And we say, yes, but talking about your problem only continues to activate the problem and holds you apart from the solution. And they say, but I don't know what the solution is. That's why I'm here. I want to tell you what my problem is so you can give me the solution. And we say, yes, but if you activate your problem, you can't hear the solution. And they say, give me my money back. We have a new process that we're offering called virtual reality. You spend 30 seconds there, and you pretend like you're a director of a movie where you get to choose the setting, you get to choose where it's happening, you get to choose the time of year, you get to pick your favorite place, your favorite time of year, your favorite time of day, your favorite sun in the sky, your favorite air upon your skin, which will induce your favorite mood. And then you get to choose your favorite people that are there, maybe it's only you, and you get to choose your favorite thing to say. Sometimes it is better that way. The idea of it is to get in, feel good, get out. As Esther began playing the game, she understood our motive, because she recognizes that even as good feeling as she usually is, that she has some beliefs that she's carried around all of her life that still are dominant within her vibration, beliefs that do not serve her. And as she feels some of them surface from time to time, and as she listens to so many of you talking about things that have happened to you before, and she realizes the struggle that you are in, she said to us one day, Abraham, I can damn well choose which vibration is dominant within me. And we said, well, we had hoped it would feel more positive to you. But it is a good first step. Because you certainly can choose, and it takes that sort of determination. I'm going to choose which vibrations are dominant. But many times you are not prepared to choose. In other words, when you get focused upon a subject, something causes it to activate within your experience. It activates right where it usually activates. And sometimes there's already enough momentum going with it that you just can't find a thought that is different from it. That's why you keep practicing the same thought. So this game of virtual reality is a game for one reason only. It's only for you to practice choosing thoughts and making them dominant. It's really more about you showing yourself that you can take a thought, a simple thought, focus on it, make it dominant, so that you gain confidence enough that you can then begin to take some of those other beliefs that are hindering you and gently modify them. Because if there is something missing from your life right now, you've got to change some vibration. If there's something in your experience right now that you don't want, you've got to change some vibration. You cannot continue to bip along in the habitual pattern of offering thought and have anything in your experience change. You've got to change it. Esther took 10 years of piano lessons when she was a little girl. Well, she was little when she started. And she did 100% of her practicing at the lesson. She had a very nice piano teacher. They enjoyed each other very much. They always had a good time, half an hour a week. And as a result, Esther can play a pretty nice tune. But we want you to practice more than at the lesson. We want you every day, if you are really serious about changing your vibration, we want you to begin to play this game of virtual reality several times every day, until before you know it, you will be able to choose which vibrations you want to make dominant. Never again was something that happened when you were 3 or 5 or 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 or 60, something else that happened that was so dominant that it caused you to offer a vibration. Never again will something other than what you choose be your dominant vibration. And when that happens, you are then the deliberate creator of your own experience. Because it turns out, creating is really about letting in what you've already easily chosen as you have moved through the contrast of your time-space reality. It's not so much about goal setting. The goal setting happens. It's about aligning to your own goal. Good.